For heaven's sake, you are part of the problems we have experienced. You are the people who have led us to this place. For my uncle was banned in Kiambaa during the 2007 general election. That you defended Kibaki. My uncle was banned in that fire. Two wrongs don't make a right. Two wrongs don't compare with Orengo. You answer for yourself.
You asked a question and you will allow me to answer.
Your speech during that time. You knew very well that you are swearing in Kibaki while everything had not been completed. Now you are here telling us that you are fighting here with us for justice. When you know very well that during that time, you participated in hurrying up things to cover up in the name of vacuum. My goodness, Uhuru Kenyatta was elected in 2013. He won again in 2017. Was Uhuru Kenyatta sworn in that evening? The answer is no. Even if the constitution, because you have defended yourself, that the constitution was not clear on timelines. For heaven's sake, Uhuru Kenyatta waited for almost 1 or 2 weeks to be sworn in. What was the hurry for? That is number one. Number two, Madam Martha Karua, with due respect to you, you are 66 years old. At 66 years old, having been a member of MP for Gichugu for all those years, having been a minister for water, minister for justice and constitutional affairs from 2005, having defended Kibaki fiercely until you became minister again. Now, you teamed up with Raila Odinga in 2022. You yourself had pronounced earlier that you will never work with Raila Odinga. That he was one person who had issues and one person who never accepted victory. How comes, if you are not here playing politics, how did you come again to team up with Raila Odinga? For heaven's sake. This is clear case of you playing politics and here hiding behind us because now Raila has gone to work with William Ruto. Now you have found you have been sidelined. You are trying to find a way of kujishika na sisi. Last question for you. You have said that you have been out of politics or of elected position or working for over 13 years. Fine. But for heaven's sake, you know we have 47 million Kenyans. Why are you still in politics? For heaven's sake, you are part of the problems we have experienced. You are the people who have led us to this place. For my uncle was banned in Kiambaa during the 2007 general election. That you defended Kibaki. My uncle was banned in that fire. And now you are here. You defended Kibaki when you know that Kibaki did not win fairly. That led into the war. Let us not lie. You know the war erupted because Kibaki did not win fairly. And now you're here. I lost my uncle, courtesy of people like you included. You are the chief agent at Bomas of Kenya. What are you telling us here? We are fighting for people like you. If you had sorted these things, Kitambo, if you had faced Moi, we could not be here. We are here because of failed people like you.
Very, very passionate, emotional submission. Tribeless. Came from your heart. I hope Martha can answer. Do you want me to take one more question before you answer?
No, let's with that one, and then I'll go to Rabia when it's hot.
Okay.
Yeah, Tribeless. Yes, I was a chief agent for Kibaki, just like Orengo was a chief agent for Raila.
Two wrongs don't make a right. Two wrongs don't compare with Orengo. You answer for yourself.
You asked a question and you will allow me to answer. If by being a chief agent of Kibaki I was wrong, was Orengo wrong to be a chief agent for Raila, or is it in your view that Kibaki did not deserve to have an agent? Because we must look at things broadly. What does a chief agent in a tallying hall, a national tallying hall, do? Ballots are never counted at the national tallying hall.
I did not ask you, with due respect, a point of order. I did not ask you whether you are chief agent. Answer my question. I asked you, why did you become part of? Why did you hurriedly swear Kibaki?
The host intervene.
Tribeless.
If you can answer yourself, then I don't need to answer you. You've got to give me time to
please
answer.
allow Honorable to speak without interruption.
What I'm saying is this, that it is not true that Kibaki was announced before the votes were counted. I was at KICC from 29th through the night to the 30th afternoon when we left KICC. All the votes, all the papers from around the country were brought. And every vote was accounted for before Kibaki was announced. Please go back to your records. It's public records. You will see that it is during the night that we were able to even find the exaggeration in Chepalungu. So it is not true. Number two, why do you think Raila picked me as his running mate? If he believed I had manipulated his vote, I want to tell you that he would not have appointed me. He knows, just like I know, that 2007 was a case of who is fooling who. It's a case of who stole from who. Exaggeration on both sides. Not in all polling stations, because I can assure you, in my constituency, there was no exaggerated votes. 20,000 voters did not vote. Where there were exaggerated votes, it was between 95%, and in the case of Kasipul Kabondo, 115% people voting. So please, go back to records and get this rationally, and you will see that there is nothing I did wrong by being Kibaki's agent. About the swearing, in the current 2010 constitution, there's an elaborate process. Even the time of swearing in is provided. And it was provided because of the problem of 207. 207, there was no requirement to wait for any period. And as a lawyer and as a Minister of Justice, because we were still holding on until the new government is sworn, my duty was to make sure that there is no vacuum. Once the announcements were made, it was our duty to arrange for President Kibaki to be sworn in. And we did that. And therefore, there was no vacuum. Yes, I am still in politics. I cannot speak for you or for the 7 million Kenyans when it comes to offering oneself. You offer oneself individually. I have not been in an elected position in the last 13 years, but I still serve Kenyans minus a position. And I keep on saying that my voice is more audible than for the people, some of the people who are elected. I am doing it as a volunteer, as a civic duty, as a Kenyan. And you cannot tell me to withdraw, just like I cannot tell you to withdraw. It's my country too. But when it comes to elective position, you give your stand up and I stand. Let each person market themselves and let Kenyans decide. You cannot decide for Kenyans alone. And I will also, I'm very, very sorry that your father was burnt at Kiaba, but I'll tell you that it is not Kibaki or PNU who burnt. And yes, Kibaki's, they sent police and police killed in several areas. That's why you saw Uhuru and Ruto together at ICC. Both sides were indicted. I can tell you that had I done any iota of thing, I was the most visible and vocal person on Kibaki's side. Had I done anything wrong, I would have been the first to be taken to ICC. I am sorry that the government I was in used the guns against the people, but I can assure you I had nothing to do with it. Justice Ministry does not control the police, and some of the things we got to know after the whole thing was over. I understand your emotion, And I once again say, as a human being and as a Kenyan, sorry. That incident was so ghastly. But look at Kenyans. They forgot all about that. If you see who they have elected, we should not forget certain incidents because it should help us to determine our future. And I suppose that is why we are here now in this space trying to find a new path. Now, for Rabia, ESCC blows hot and cold. Sometimes they do so well. Other times, their behavior is questionable. They are as opaque as they come when they want to be. And at times, they are good. So, yes, they may say that in the case of Balala. But there are many other cases where they have accepted in the withdrawal by the system. We need an overhaul of all our institutions, including EACC. Have they even tried to get the background of the people who are being vetted so as they are able to say, this person is saying so much, they have this much? They have investigators just like DCI. So we have a problem. We need to fix that problem. About the women rep seat, it is not just the women rep, it's the seats also of the MPs holding CDF. The use of monies held on behalf of the people is not above board. And I will blame also the national and county government. All that money being given to little pockets should be aggregated, and every school going children should get their pads, just like they are given books. It's something necessary for the children to be able to learn. About being a leader, I think until we change our electoral system, it's very difficult for those without money to be leaders. We have monetized our politics. As voters, we insist on being given little monies. Maybe one day, when we change the system so that parties and not individuals are elected, and every party puts a list of the people they will nominate once elected. That way, it is not an individual who will be campaigning, we will be campaigning as a party, and there will be no pressure on people giving money. That will give a poor person as well as the same chance as a rich person. And it means because the party is obligated to list their people before the election, if the party favors a bad candidate over a good candidate, it will lose the votes. It is a discussion for another day, but we sure have a problem. For now, I recommend, if you feel you have a calling as a leader, start talking to your people, start laying your groundwork. In a few cases, youth without money have been able to defeat those with money. But your choice of party will matter because your party can deny you the ticket the last moment. I thank you for these very insightful questions. Even the question about 207, it is important because there are people who have been given half or untruthful information about what really went on. It is important everybody gets what they have in their chest out. I thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Guys, we have to stay focused. We have to know that Nane Nane March, that's the hashtag we are pushing. And unity